The NBA trade deadline just wrapped up as the clock strikes 1 p.m. Wow, what a trade deadline. I'm sure most of you guys, like myself, were asleep when the blockbuster trade, Kevin Durant, someone who was a MVP candidate leading all the way up to his injury, got shipped off to the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the Lakers have some new assets. Kyrie Irving was on the move to the Mavs. There's a ton to unpack here. Today, we're going to be grading every trade at the 2023 NBA trade deadline. There is a lot to unpack here, and there's a lot of different opinions, I'm sure. I feel like most of these teams, honestly, are winners, though. If you guys agree or disagree with anything I have to say, let me know in the comments below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video talking about the Suns and the Nets. So the Nets acquire 4 first-round picks, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and Jay Crowder, who was already flipped to the Milwaukee Bucks for 5 first-round picks. Honestly, the Bucks, they get a great player. It was kind of a lot to give up. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. And the Suns obviously acquire Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. Wow, what a trade. Honestly, first glance, I would say it's an A+ for the Suns. You guys are you were already title contenders in most people's eyes, but now you've probably emerged, I would assume, on every book, betting book, as the favorites for the title, because right now the starting 5 is probably going to be CP3, Devin Booker, TJ Warren, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. If this team can stay healthy, there is no reason they shouldn't at least make the Western Conference Finals, let alone the finals. I think this was a wonderful trade, and for the Nets, they honestly got a decent bit of stuff in return. They did not really have a future. They don't have their own draft picks, so now they're just going out and being like, give me your draft pick and give me your draft pick. And honestly, I think that's a good thing for Brooklyn. If we were going to rebuild, though, I wish they would have taken other trade offers for Kyrie Irving. It seems like they took the trade offer from the Dallas Mavericks thinking like, okay, maybe Kevin's going to sit around and we can get these Dorian Finney-Smith type players and these Spencer Dinwiddie type players that are actually going to help us compete in the playoffs. But no, and the only reason I say that is because the Lakers offered that 2027 and 2029 first-round pick, and those obviously are some of the most valuable picks in the NBA right now. But I digress. I think, like I said, for the Suns, this is an A+. And then for the Brooklyn Nets, on this half of the trade, I would say this is a B- or a B maybe. I just feel like, honestly, even though it's 4 first-rounders and a great player in Mikal Bridges and a good young player in Cam Johnson, and obviously you flipped Jay Crowder for the 5 first, it still kind of seems like underpay for Kevin Durant. But I digress. I don't think either of these teams are necessarily losers. Definitely not the Suns. To the next team, the Lakers. I'm going to give them a B+. I made an entire video on this trade last night if you guys want to check it out, so I won't spend too much time on this. The Lakers get D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. And they gave the Utah Jazz Russell Westbrook and their 2027 first-round pick, which is unprotected. And then the Timberwolves got involved in this trade, making it a 3-team trade, giving Mike Conley and a second-round pick, acquiring Mike Conley and a second-round pick from Utah. I would give the Timberwolves a D. I think they absolutely got fleeced in this trade. The Jazz get a B- because Russell Westbrook, assuming he doesn't get bought out, can maybe, help this team just stay afloat or tank. Either way, I could really see it going. And then that 2027 first-round pick is going to be very valuable. The Lakers, like I said, they get a B+. I think D'Angelo Russell will help a lot. Malik Beasley will help a lot. And Jared Vanderbilt will definitely help a lot on the glass and the defensive side of the ball, which they desperately have been needing this season, especially because Anthony Davis has been in and out of the lineup all year. Again, I made an entire video on this discussing this entire trade yesterday, so if you guys haven't seen that, be sure to check it out. And now we move on to the Dallas Mavericks acquiring Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. And then the Nets, they get a package of Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first-round pick, and multiple second-round picks. Honestly, for the Mavs, you're going to get a B+. I was thinking about giving you an A-, but I just got to see how this plays out a little bit more. I think this lineup is insanely good compared to what it used to be, and it's crazy that just 2 players can change the entire gravity, the entire situation. I was watching a little bit of that Dallas and Clippers game last night, and Kyrie looked very comfortable in his new threads, as I predicted he would. And honestly, watching Luka on the bench because he was injured, he looked excited to watch his new teammate hoop and go out there and get buckets. and it's really going to be exciting for Dallas fans. Mark Cuban looks stoked, and he even said in an interview that he checked with Luka to make sure, hey, is it okay if we bring Kyrie in? He's been in some drama, and Luka said it was more than good. That's just the type of pristine, professionalism that Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks possess. I'm really stoked to see Maxi Kleber back out there. I'm really stoked to see Luka Doncic back out there. This next week for basketball, it's going to be super exciting to watch these new, Mavericks teams and the Suns play and the Lakers play. There's a lot to be figured out and not much time to be figured out. We only have about a half a season left for everyone to get locked in and crank it up into playoff, basketball, because obviously that's much different. But I'm really excited to see how, Jason Kidd handles Kyrie. And, going back to that Suns trade, I'm really excited to see how Monty Williams can, play with KD and, spread him around the floor. Now moving on to these two smaller trades that happened. The Bucks, they give up 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. I would say that's a C+ trade. Jay Crowder, he has not played a single game this NBA season, so I have no idea what he's going to look like. Second-round picks, a lot of people say they're unvaluable until they turn into a Draymond Green or a Nikola Jokic or a Manu Ginobili. And obviously, I'm very aware that the chances of drafting, a talent like that in the second round is very slim. However, it's possible. And 5 swings at the bat, I mean, for getting someone who hasn't played at all and just flipping him immediately, it just helps the Nets continue to build on that draft capital that they have. I mean, Jay Crowder, he's a great 3-and-D guy, and I think he's going to fit really well with the Bucks, just like he fit well with the Miami Heat, and just like he fit well with the Celtics a long time ago, and even the Cavs for his brief stint. Jay Crowder, he's been good pretty much everywhere he goes. But again, they kind of gave up a lot of assets, draft capital wise to get this. And the final one that we're going to be talking about is the Trailblazers and Knicks. They swapped Josh Hart for Cam Reddish. Very interesting trade in my opinion, especially from the Trailblazers side of things. I feel like Josh Hart is super criminally underrated. I think I put a tweet out this season that said Josh Hart, underrated, overrated, or just right. And I fall on the side of him being underrated. He's a great rebounder. He's a scrappy defender. He can shoot and knock down at least 1-3 a game most nights. And he never is looking to do too much. That's something I love to see in my role players that are facilitating without passing the ball. And if you don't know what I mean, I just mean moving off the ball, cutting to the basket, getting rebounds, and just taking the shots that are smart shots. Like, he can get 10 points, but those 10 points are all going to be great and smart shots or layups or dunks. Cam Reddish, I'm glad he got out of New York. I just don't really know. You're trading him to a Trailblazers team that's kind of trying to compete, obviously, because they're not trading Grant and they're definitely not trading Damian Lillard. So you're sending this young guy who has shown some flashes of excitement to a Trailblazers team that is desperately trying to compete. It just makes me wonder what kind of PT he's going to get. I wonder how Chauncey Billups is going to address this situation. I'm sure a lot of Portland fans are not happy. As for the Knicks side of things, I think this was a huge W. I would give this trade an A. The Knicks on most nights when Julius Randle isn't grabbing 14 rebounds a night, the Knicks kind of struggle on the glass, so it's going to be good to just slot someone in. And Josh Hart is the perfect type of player to be coached by, Tom Thibodeau. Tom's always been kind of a defensive-minded coach, and the Knicks have kind of forgotten that type of style of gritty basketball. So having someone like this come into the locker room, I feel like for the Knicks side of things, this was definitely an A. You traded a player that you don't even use for a player that you're going to utilize a lot, especially come playoff time. And for the Trailblazers, I would give this a C-, not because it's Cam Reddish, but just because the direction of the trade makes no sense to me. I think Cam Reddish is going to be a great talent in the NBA someday. Definitely has a long career ahead of him, as long as he can continue to just shoot the ball well and play defense and be a big wing. I mean, some people forget that this dude's wingspan is like 7'1" or 7'2", I'm pretty sure. Yeah, his wingspan is 7'1". I just looked it up. And Julius Randle, just for reference, Julius Randle, who is a towering 5 or 6 inches taller than him, only has a wingspan of 7 foot. His former teammate RJ Barrett only has a wingspan of 6'10". He is a very lengthy and versatile, or at least has the potential to be a lengthy and versatile defender in this league. But what do you guys think? Which one of these teams took home the best trade and why? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, as always, I appreciate your support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.